Hey there, I'm John.
And I'm Josh.
We are up to the week 3 results of the 2022 college football season. And so we're going to go through. There were not a ton of surprises, but we'll talk about what we saw.
Yeah,
what we
fairly
think about
straightforward week.
It is. So, number 1, Georgia went to South Carolina and just absolutely creamed the Gamecocks.
If you remember right, last video we talked about we were going to play a game for the rest of the season.
Yeah.
Can whatever team it is score more than 10 points against Georgia?
Yeah.
And we both said South Carolina cannot, and we were right. South Carolina scores a stunning season high against Georgia's defense of 7 points.
Yes, that's true.
Lost 48-7.
But it's sort of a mercy score near the end of the game, and so it's like, yeah.
Remember, this is like a good quarterback for South Carolina too. So.
That's arguable. I mean, like he seems like he's good.
He's had a good career,
but he doesn't play great against really good teams.
Bennett, Georgia's QB. I mean, the kid's putting up some crazy, crazy numbers. The mailman is delivering. Let me tell you. I guess you can argue. I mean, like 2 years ago when Devontae, I guess it was 2 years ago when Devontae won the Heisman. People were saying he deserved the Heisman over Bryce because at least people at that time had claimed that he was like making Bryce who he was. Obviously Bryce then the next year did all the things himself. But the question is Bennett actually the real deal, or has he been given a team that is just superior, right? Like a Johnny Manziel and Mike Evans type deal, right?
Yeah.
You can like kind of name a couple QB wide receiver duos where at least looking back now we can see it was the wide receiver that carried the QB.
Yeah, that's true, and I think that my dead grandma could probably do great if she was the quarterback for Georgia.
Look, here's what I have to say. Bennett, you're doing great. Fantastic year so far. We'd love to see him in the NFL, see how he does there when he's put against
I don't think it's going to happen.
all teams who are going to be of equal talent, if you will.
I think he would get destroyed in the NFL, but that's just my opinion, and I could be wrong. Okay, number 12, BYU. They went to Oregon, and the question was, could they, was Oregon, after they had that beat down against Georgia and been destroyed by Georgia, were they a real deal or not? And they came in this one, and really, they beat down BYU.
Yeah, they really did. What's crazy is BYU at the beginning of the game flew in the flag of the Oregon player that had passed away and everything, showing a lot of class and everything.
That was.
And the Oregon student section started yelling "F you Mormons" during the middle of the game.
Yeah.
Stay classy, Oregon. Yeah. Classy as always, we're doing what they do best.
Classy's better.
Either way, they still won the game. So
they won it big.
There is a bright side there. Bo Nix
41-20.
finally looked like he at least had a
did.
semi-understanding of what he was supposed to be doing for this offense. Made some really good plays, actually. So
he did.
Good for him.
Liberty was at number 19, Wake Forest. And, wow, this was crazy because Liberty kept this a really close game. Only lost it because they went for 2 at the end of the game.
Really poorly executed 2-point conversion too.
It was
like
poorly
at least
executed.
give yourself a chance or throw the ball up or anything, right? Like they tried to do some trickeration, and I think it was a wide receiver who had come across pre-snap had been given the ball, and he just tried. He didn't even try to throw it. I'd rather just see an interception or like a lob or a bad throw or anything than him not even making it to the 3-yard line because he tries to do something with his legs. Either way,
so they lost by 1. Last second opportunity there. Mississippi State was at LSU. Neither one of them ranked. Some bit of struggles, but LSU came out and just really. A bit surprisingly, maybe, just sort of dominated this. 31-16.
Defensively, they looked excellent the entire game, and then their offense just did enough that they ended up winning the game 31-16. Moves LSU to 3-1. So
that's right.
Interesting little record there.
It is. Texas Tech was at number 16, North Carolina State, and I honestly, I think I said that I thought Texas Tech might win this. I was wrong. North Carolina State won 27-14. So they took care of business, and
just a little preview later on in the season when NC State plays North Carolina. North Carolina's QB in a press conference just recently said the only people who cheer for NC State are the people who can't get into North Carolina.
Wow.
Woo!
Sorry, Wolfpack.
Yeah, that's tough right there.
That is
so
tough.
I guess we'll see what happens, but that's going to be a fun little rivalry game, I think.
Yep. Especially North Carolina is currently undefeated. So,
yeah.
Yes. Number 11, Michigan State. Okay, this was the one that we were talking about, how Washington was given the nod as far as, hey, everybody thinks Washington's going to win, even though Michigan State was number 11 coming into this, and Washington was unranked.
That Washington was favored.
Yeah.
And I didn't think it was going to happen, to be honest, but
I know.
Clearly everyone knew something I didn't.
So
what's the point of
big
rankings if the number 11 team is supposed to lose against an unranked team, right?
That's exactly
It doesn't
right.
make sense to me.
Exactly.
39-28 beat down. At least it was at Washington, but either way, I think the problem is with teams like Michigan State and Wisconsin and all these teams who kind of can just play a fairly boring type offenses. If you get shut down, it's over.
It is.
Like the second, you're not a big play offense, right? You're a team like Wazoo or whatever who's just lobbing the ball up every other play. There's a chance that you can beat anybody. But if you're not playing that kind of style of offense, to me, you're limiting yourself and have a higher chance of, at least without perfect execution, losing the game.
True.
So
true that. Tough. Number 13, Miami went to Texas A&M, who's number 24. To this one,
we saw this coming too.
We did.
Fair.
We had doubts about Miami. Why were they ranked number 13? And this really just proved that they shouldn't have been. And it's props to Texas A&M. That after having a tough start, they came out and did what they needed.
I'd love to see an A&M continue to be successful, so the Alabama game's more interesting. So
it does make it more interesting.
It does for sure.
So
good
Texas
win for them.
A&M won 17-9. That's right. So your week 3 upsets.
Bad year for me so far. 1-5. Fresno at number 7 USC 45-17. It was over before it started. And then the more interesting one, Penn State at Auburn. I really thought that Auburn was at least going to compete in this game. I genuinely thought they would compete.
I thought they would, especially at home.
Yeah, but man.
Whew. Ouch. 41-12.
41-12. Like, what do you mean?
Yeah.
TJ Finley looked absolutely awful.
And speaking of which, and looks like he's out for potentially, I don't know how many games,
in
but
game.
possibly the season.
So that's
we'll
unfortunate. Obviously, you never want to see that anyways.
No.
But Penn State, offensively, spectacular.
Yeah.
They were killing it. I mean, I don't lack of coaching. It can't be talent. Auburn has the talent. I don't know what the deal was, but Harson's probably out, right? At the end,
very possible.
I can see it being halfway through the season that he gets fired. That's tough.
Yeah.
Auburn's
as you
really
said,
shelling out money.
The boosters have been trying to get him out anyway, so this does not help his case at all. So we got a couple games that we're just saying props to these guys for making them tough games.
It's that Sunbelt
surprisingly, yes. So South Alabama went to UCLA, went all the way to the West Coast, and lost this one 32-31.
How they messed it up, man. They were ahead in the fourth quarter.
They had them against the ropes.
0 seconds, just lost this game. So heartbreaking for USA. They really did everything they needed up to that point. It's just tough.
It is tough. And then Troy was at App State. And wow, Troy actually had this game. They had done everything right except for this really strange accepting a safety.
Yeah, it was a poorly. So the whole point of that play, if you look it up, is to waste as much time as you can.
And they didn't waste
that
much.
For some reason, the offensive lineman didn't block.
Yeah.
They got straight through. So this quarterback immediately is just turned around sprinting backwards, and they're not wasting any time or anything.
Yeah.
Hail Mary.
Yeah.
And
App State got a Hail Mary.
Everything went App State's
weird
way.
Hail Mary that just...
Yeah, the defender knocked it down straight into the wide receiver's hands and just ran it around. So that's tough.
So that was week 3. Fun week and very interesting outcome. Join us when we talk about week 4.